Welcome to the Unapologetic Mompreneur, the podcast for mums with an online business who are ready to take back their time, home, business and self so they can restore the balance and thrive, both at home and at work, without feeling like they have to choose between the two. I'm your host, Sarah Dew, life and biz coach for mompreneurs. I'm also a mum, stepmom, wife, introvert, breast cancer survivor, and your mentor for making a change for the better. I've learned how to go from surviving to thriving and unapologetically create a business I love and the life I want for me and my family without worrying about what other people think. And now I'm here to help you do the same. Because being an unapologetic mompreneur doesn't mean that we're selfish or that we don't care about others. It simply means that we are not afraid to show up as our true, authentic selves, to step into our purpose, do what we know is right for ourselves and the ones we love, and take the steps we need to take to make our dream life and business a reality. Join me each week where I'll be sharing all of my best tips and strategies, plus the occasional dose of tough but gentle love to help you feel empowered, motivated, and confident to take action so that you can become the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. So, are you ready to unapologetically create a business and life you love? Let's do this. Hey there, and welcome to episode 66 of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. In today's episode, we are diving into a topic that is going to help you set your new year off on the right foot and help you to start as you mean to go on, heading into the new year so that you can crush your business goals without feeling torn between your kids and your laptop. If you find it hard to find the time to work on your business or feel like you're pulled every which way, and that when you then come to set down and do your work, that you're totally distracted and you don't know what you're working on, this episode is for you. I'm going to be sharing with you the power of setting work hours and boundaries as a mompreneur, how to get started and how to keep the momentum going so that you know exactly what you're doing when you come to sit down and start your day and make the most of the time that you have when you are working on your business. As mums growing our businesses in the margins of the school day, our time is our most valuable resource. But without clearly defined work hours and boundaries, it is easy for us to feel pulled in a million different directions. It's also tempting to work every hour under the sun and then feel stressed and exhausted at the end of the day because we don't have any time for ourselves, and it makes us feel like we're neglecting our kids as well. I know exactly what that was like when I first started out, and you know if you've been listening to this podcast that that's something that I share a lot. Is that I was working and thought that I had to be, in order to be successful, that I had to work every hour under the sun on my business. And I hit burnout twice round where I was just working so much and I felt pulled every which way. Things were being neglected at home. And I realized that actually, whilst I'd started my business so that I could have time with my family, I was actually taking over my life. And I knew that things had to change. And once I sat back and I set myself some proper work hours, that I defined the hours that I was going to work and I set the boundaries around when they were going to be and when I wasn't going to work, everything changed. I stopped feeling stressed out. I stopped feeling overwhelmed, and I actually was far more productive working less. It's crazy because it does make you think that actually when you're working and you're having to put all these hours in, that you have to spend hours working on your business to get anywhere. But that is simply not the case. When I stepped back and I cut down the amount of hours I was working on my business and I set and defined set work hours, I actually started going from surviving to thriving in my business. I saw better results. The quality of the work that I was producing was so much better. And so if you're feeling like you're pulled in every different direction, you got 101 things on your plate, juggling all of the things, home life, mum life, and biz life, and you don't have set work hours, it's time to do that. And in today's episode, I'm going to share with you how to get started on doing it so that you can get that into motion now. Spend some time thinking over the Christmas break about what you would like to do going forward into the new year, of when you want to work on your business, what hours you have available. Set that up now, and then when you start again in fresh in January, when the kids go back to school, you can hit the ground running, knowing exactly what you are doing and feel like you are in control of your day and in control of your business because you have taken back the reins and set the hours that you are going to work. So why does it matter so much? Why don't we just go and work any old time that we feel like on our business whenever we have a few minutes? Why is it so much better to actually have set work hours? So, like I've mentioned already, I was so much more focused and so much more productive when I had set work hours. Because knowing exactly what you're going to work on when, that takes away all of that decision fatigue. You know when your hours are that you're working, and you can dive into your tasks with focus instead of wasting precious time figuring out what to do next. When I didn't have set work hours, I was just spinning in circles thinking, oh, what shall I work on today? That'll do. I wasn't focused and I spent so much time flitting back and forth between things because I didn't have set work hours that I wasn't being productive at all and everything was taking me so long. It also means that you're going to accomplish more in less time. That's definitely something that I've discovered. Like I've already said, when I was working every hour under the sun in my business, I thought I had to do that to achieve things, but everything took so long. Once I cut my hours, and I'm going to share what my hours are in a moment, but once I cut them down and I was actually having more focused work time with set start and end time in my day, I actually accomplished so much more. Parkinson's law says that our work expands to fill the time that we have available. And so if we set ourselves 10 hours to work on something or 3 hours to work on something, we're still going to fill that time. So I realized and I learned that once I cut my hours back and I had those set work hours, I actually did get so much more done in a lot less time. When I first started my business, I was working all day, every day. I was working in the evenings. I would even work on the weekends if I could get away with it. If I could snatch a couple of hours on a Saturday morning or a Sunday afternoon, I would do that. But once I cut my work hours back to the times when Harrison is at school, so from 9 until 2:30, and not work evenings, and I also don't work Friday afternoons, do you know what? I actually get more done in my shorter work week now than I did back in the day when I was working all of those hours. When you have those defined work hours and you know what you're working towards, you really will get more done in less time. Another thing I found by having my set work hours is that I feel less guilty about working on my business and neglecting Harrison and Oscar and my husband. Or that when I'm with them, I don't feel guilty that I'm neglecting my business because by setting work hours and having clear when you start and finish, clocking on, clocking off hours, those clear boundaries mean that when you are with your kids, you get to be with your kids. You can be fully present and you're not there thinking, oh, I haven't done this, I haven't sent an email, I haven't posted on social, all of that stuff. And equally, when you're with your work, you are not feeling like you are neglecting your kids because you've got set work hours. They are designed to fit around the time that you have available. You can focus on that time when you're working without feeling like you are neglecting your kids. And I love that about my work hours now. So like I said, my work hours are generally 9 until 2:30. And then when Harrison gets in from school, if he's on PlayStation for an hour with his friends, then sometimes I'll do an extra hour then. But he knows that that is what my work hours are, and the rest of my family know what those work hours are. And because they fit in with when he is at school, when he's at home, I am free to spend quality time with him, and I don't need to spend any time working on my business during the weekends, and I can spend that quality time with them. And as a result, that has really improved my relationships with my family, both with my boys and with my hubby, because I know that I've got that set time and they know when I'm working. They know when I'm available, when I'm not. It means that there's no misunderstandings, there's no resentment, there's no feeling like they're being left out. There's none of me feeling like I'm neglecting my business. I get quality time with them, and that time is so much more precious because I'm intentional about how I spend it with them. And I have those set work hours, and it really has brought us closer together as a family. And then ultimately, by having defining work hours and boundaries in your business, having those set work hours that you work to each day and week, it gives you the structure that you need to thrive both at work and at home. It gives you that clear definition of you know when you are working, you know when you are off, and you've got those boundaries. They're so much easier to honor, and it can help you feel more confident about tackling your day and make you feel more confident as the boss of your business that you are in charge and in control. And it makes you feel like you can actually manage everything on your plate because when you set those work hours and you've defined when you're working and when you're not working, you know when you are free to work on your business. You know when you are free to do the things you need to do around the house, to run the errands, to spend time with your family. It really does help you take back control and make you feel like you are in the driving seat instead of spinning all of those plates. So, how do we get started defining your work hours and your boundaries? If you have not had or set any work hours yet, now is the perfect time to do so. And I'm going to walk you through how to do just that. Put this into practice now. Spend some time over the next couple of weeks, over the Christmas break, thinking about what you want from your day, what you want from your week, what time you have available, and how you would like to spend your working days going forward into the new year so that you can set that up in your mind, ready to go. And then you can hit the ground running in January, knowing that you are in charge and that you are calling the shots and that you have taken back your day. You know when you're working, you know when you're spending time with your kids, and you can kiss goodbye to that mum guilt. So first up is to audit your current schedule. Take a look at how you are spending your time during the week at the moment. When are you working on your business? What is going on in your family life? Map out your week and have a look and see what your week looks like and when makes the most sense for you to spend time working on your business and what time during the week you want to spend time with your kids. What are your boundaries going to be around that? Take a look at every individual day and ask yourself what works best for you. So, for example, with mine, Harrison, like I said, is at school Monday to Friday. I drop him off. I'm usually back around 8:30. I may quickly put a load of washing on in the machine or blitz a room that needs doing. But generally, I'm sitting down in front of my desk by 9 o'clock. I know that it works well for me to be working between 9 and around 2:30 and generally taking around half an hour for lunch. My husband works from home, and so we like to have lunch together. So my lunch time is pretty fluid. It depends on when he has calls, but generally it's somewhere between 12 and 1, and we'll catch half an hour together, sit in the kitchen and just catch up with a cup of coffee and have some lunch, and then we both head off back to our offices again and carry on working. So my general Monday to Friday day looks like that, around 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. If Harrison, generally on a Wednesday, he will have extra PlayStation time with his friends from 4 until 6, because Wednesday my husband has a conference call every week as part of his team meeting. That is because he works for a US firm, so the time delays and everything, time zones. And so he is on the phone until 6 o'clock on the Wednesday evening. So Harrison gets that as extra like PlayStation time or time where he's on calls with his friends. So generally on a Wednesday, that works for me to actually make the most of that time and grab an extra couple of hours on my business. But that is all that I work. I don't work any time during the weekends, and I don't work in the evenings. Also on a Friday, I want and I know that I need, in order for me to feel like I'm thriving and filling my cup, is that I don't work on a Friday afternoon either. That took me a long time to do. That was something that I really struggled with, of giving myself permission to take time off and maybe shouldn't I be working up until when he gets in from school on a Friday. But actually, no, I love that 2 hours. It is my time and it is something that I get to look forward to at the end of every week. I've done my work hours and I'm free to enjoy that couple of hours, whether I go into town and go for a wander or a coffee, I go for a walk, or I just sit and watch something on Netflix on TV before he gets in from school. Having those couple of hours to look forward to at the end of my working week that I know are just for me really fills my cup. And then I'm able and I'm ready and mindset and energized wise to be able to spend quality time with my boys over the weekend, knowing that I've had some time for me. So take a look at your current schedule. Take a look at your regular week, what a normal week looks like for you. What pockets of time do you have and when do you want to work? If it doesn't work, depending on what season you're in right now, if you've got younger kids and it's during nap time and things like that, be flexible with it and just ask yourself what works best. Yes, it works for me now going right from 9 a.m. until 2:30 p.m. But they may not work for you depending on what you've going on, and everybody's schedule is going to look different. But the first step to this is to audit that current schedule. What is your schedule like right now? When are you working on your business? What pockets of time do you have available? When are your highs and lows of energy that make sense for you to work on your business? When do you want to work on your business? And when do you want to spend time with family? Take a look at your schedule and map out when it would be possible for you to work. And remember, you don't need to fill every single second working. Less is more, and I have definitely found over the years that the less I work on my business, the shorter the amount of work hours I've got, the more productive and focused that I am. So take a look at your schedule and see when works best for you. Next is to determine your non-negotiables. What part of your day are reserved for family, self-care, and other priorities? Take a look at what is going on with your school runs, drop-offs, pickups. What goes on with all of your after-school clubs if you've got any for kids? What time do you like to have dinner? When do you catch up with family and friends? What makes sense? Define those non-negotiables. Put them in your schedule first before you set your work hours. It is tempting to want to set the work hours first and say, right, I've got all of these pockets of time. That is when I'm working. But if you're not careful, and I've learned from experience, that all of that time fills up and then you've got no time left for family and no time left for yourself. So take a look at how things are already right now of your current schedule, like step one, and then look at what your non-negotiables are, that what you want to fit in. So now you know what your current schedule is like, and you know what your non-negotiables are, the things that are important and matter most to you as a family that you need to work around. What does that leave you with your work hour? Look at the margins of your day, whether it is during the school times or the nap times or if the evenings work for you. Just because I'm choosing now to not work evenings, that may be the time that is available for you, depending on what else you've got going on. So take a look at the times that you've got left and block out any dedicated time for work. So like I said, for me, 9:30 in the morning until around 2:30 on school days is when I am working. Anything else outside of that is reserved for family time and quality time with my hubby and seeing friends, family, catching up with people, running errands and doing all of the home life, mum life stuff. When makes the most sense for you? And like I said, it doesn't have to be long blocks. It could be a couple of hours here on a Monday, a couple of hours there on a Tuesday. Maybe you don't work on a Wednesday, but then you have all day Thursday. Take a look at what works for you and set them up. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. It's your business, your family. You get to set the rules, but have a look and ask yourself what makes the most sense. Once you've done that, make sure that you set boundaries around that time. Communicate it to your family. Let them know when you are working. Set your boundaries with your clients. And just because you'll set your boundaries with your work hours, like me, where I'm working 9 until 2:30 every day, I don't take client calls every day. I have set boundaries around that and I allow myself Mondays and Friday mornings because I know that I finish at lunchtime on a Friday. I don't take calls then. I only take client calls and do my coaching calls and Zoom calls and all of that stuff. I've set the boundaries around that I only do that on a Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So just because if you're going to be there all every day doesn't mean you have to do an access and people get access to you every day. Ask what your boundaries are of when you want to be working and when you are available to your clients. And if you can, create signals so that your family know when you are on or off. Harrison knows if he's in from school and I'm working on that Wednesday afternoon. If my door is shut, then I'm on a call. If my door's shut, I could be recording a podcast episode. I also have a little sign that I hang on my door handle that says on air so that they know if I am recording a podcast, it is quiet time. If my door is open, Harrison can come in. He can absolutely disturb me anytime he likes when my door is open. But if that door's shut, they know that I'm working on something important. And that is a boundary around my time. That is the communication to my family that I'm working on my business. Any other time, I'm free, available, I can be disturbed, but it's respecting the boundaries. They know that, okay, the door's open, they can come and disturb me. They know that the door's shut, but actually, once I'm done, that door's open, I'm there for them again. So communicate the boundaries with your family because if they don't know, they can't support you in it. And then last up is allowing for flexibility. It takes a little while for you to figure out what work hours are working for you and your family, to bed them in, to get used to them, and to actually, especially working from home, have that discipline to sit down and not get distracted and go off and do something else. Or, okay, it gets to 2:30, yeah, that's all right, I'm going to work for another half an hour. Or for me, like Harrison's home and he's not on PlayStation with his friends, but I'm going to ignore my boundaries and I'm going to continue working. Allow for that flexibility and discipline to bed in. It takes time to get used to it, but if you follow it and you stick with it, it really will help you in the long run and you will get into that routine and that sync, and your kids and your family will get used to knowing when it is that you are working. It's important too to build some buffer time into your schedule so that you are there to handle unexpected interruptions without them derailing your day because life happens. We know what it's like when we've got kids. Kids get sick. There's inset days, there's extra holidays, there's training days, there's snow days, there's all of those things that throw into the mix that make it difficult for us to do our normal work hours unexpectedly and often at the last minute. So if you have that flexibility, then that allows things to keep the flow going for you to still get things done and by not filling every single minute of your day. So earlier when I said about looking at what my day was like and when you're choosing your hours, that it's tempting to fill every single hour that you have available that is spare to focus on your business. But if you don't do that and you allow yourself some buffer time, if things do crop up, then you've got the time to adjust and you can work on it and you're not feeling stressed or rushed or overwhelmed or exhausted because you're trying to fit everything into time that you don't have. And as you bed into this, there may be a couple of challenges that come up. So I just want to share what some of my common challenges were and how I overcame them so that if they do crop up for you, then you can look at them too and push through them. The first that I struggled with was feeling guilty about my work time and actually working on my business and having that tear between spending time with Harrison and time with my laptop. But the beauty of doing these work hours means that you are setting those boundaries and it takes away some of that push and pull and that guilt of focusing on your business and like you're neglecting other things. But if you remember that your business is part of providing for your family's future, when you are taking your work seriously and taking your business seriously, it's actually an act of love and responsibility. You are doing something for your family and working on something that is going to provide and give you the time and money freedom that you're looking for in a way that works and fits around your family. And one of the ways of accomplishing that is setting those work hours. You may find that you'll get some pushback from others. I certainly did with the business when I started looking at setting work hours of when I was and wasn't going to take client calls and cutting my hours back and not working in the evenings. But be consistent and be firm when you first start doing this. And then over time, others will respect your boundaries if you enforce them with kindness and clarity. And you just share that that is why you're doing it and what matters to you. And if it's pushback from family, share with them that you are doing this so that you can be crystal clear on when you are working and that they can know when you are free so that you've got set work hours so that you can focus on doing things in your business during those hours to know that you are then free to spend quality time with them. And if they've not been used to you having hours and specific set work hours already, it may take a few weeks for them to get used to it. But trust the process, be consistent, be firm. Keep sharing what it is and why, and so that it allows you to then be free with them once you've done your work. And they will get used to it, they will respect it. Harrison totally respects my work boundaries now. He knows when I'm working, he knows when he can come and disturb me. He knows when I'm busy and I'm doing something where I can't be disturbed. But he also knows that when that work is done, I am with him and I get to spend and he gets to spend quality time with me. And then lastly, don't forget to give yourself a few weeks to adapt. It will take time. And if you set some hours that you think are going to work and they don't despair. Just tweak them, try again, and then check in with yourself regularly over the coming weeks and months to see what's working and what's not, and tweak it as you can. So there we have it. That is how to get started on setting your work hours and your boundaries going into 2025 and using them to help you go from surviving to thriving in your mompreneur journey and thrive both at home and at work in your business without feeling like you have to choose between the two. When you set your work hours and your boundaries, you are going to be more focused and productive. It's going to get rid of all of that mum guilt of feeling torn between one and the other. It's going to help take away and reduce the likelihood of you hitting burnout because you don't have the blurred lines between work and family that make you feel like you are always on. It's also going to give you the structure to help you thrive both at home and as a mum. It's going to make you feel so much more in control of your day. So, quick recap. Audit your current schedule. Take a look at where you are currently spending your time during the working week and see where you have got what pockets of time that naturally fits. Once you've done that, make a list of your non-negotiables. What do you need to set up that's going to make your life easier to manage during your day? When are you doing school runs? When are you running errands? How long do you need to prep and cook dinner? When are the kids after school clubs? How do you want to spend your weekends? Put those non-negotiables in first and then use the time that is free after that to block out your work hours so that everything fits harmoniously together and isn't rubbing each other up the wrong way. So then when you know what your negotiables and non-negotiables are, choose those work hours. What works best for you? When are you going to work? Remember, mine works well for me of 9 a.m. to 2:30 every single day, Monday to Thursday, and then Fridays I finish at lunchtime. But that may not work for you. If your work hours look totally different and it's an evening here, a morning there, an afternoon there, that is okay. You do you and set the hours that work best for you and your family. Next up was to communicate those boundaries and your work hours to family and clients so that people know when you are working and when you are not working, and what signals can you use to show when you are on or off. So like me, when my office door is closed or when I'm recording a podcast, I've got the sign that hangs on my door that says on air. How can you communicate that to your family? And then lastly was to allow for that flexibility. Give yourself time for it to bed in, knowing that you can tweak it as you go along and build in that buffer time into the schedule just in case things crop up so that you've got some wiggle room and you're not leaving feeling stressed. I hope that this episode has helped. Give yourself a couple of weeks over this Christmas break to just think about everything that I've shared today and look at how you want to put it all together and what works best for you. You really will thank yourself going into the new year if you have got these work hours that you can sit to so that when you come and start your working day, you know when you are working, how long you have got, and you can map it out and be productive and get so much more done in less time, knowing then that you are free to spend that quality time with your family. Now, if you want some help doing this, come and book a power hour, and in one session I will help you map out your ideal work schedule for your working week, how to set those boundaries and protect your time and energy, and then build a plan to help you move forward. If that's something that you're interested in, you'll find the link to book a power hour in the show notes, or you can send me a DM over on Instagram at the Unapologetic Mompreneur, and I will help you create the roadmap that gives you clarity, balance, and the freedom to thrive. That's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Good luck with creating and setting those work hours. It really is going to make all of the world of difference for you as you head into 2025. Bye for now. Thank you so much for joining me for another installment of the Unapologetic Mompreneur podcast. If you like what you heard, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I would love for you to leave me a rating and a review so that other mompreneurs can find this podcast too. Here's to unapologetically becoming the mum, wife, biz owner, and woman you know you are meant and deserve to be. I can't wait to chat with you in the next episode. Bye for now.